Number 1. Sahara. Most of northern Africa is covered by the Sahara, the largest scorching desert in the world that is almost as big as the United States. Contrary to common opinion, the Sahara does not consist primarily of enormous sand dunes, known as ergs. The majority of the desert is made up of mostly stony, harsh, and barren plateaus with very little sand. The average annual rainfall in the Sahara is less than 3 inches. Even in the wettest regions of the Sahara, it may only rain twice a week before ceasing for years. In the eastern Sahara, there is a long, north-south trending rift valley that separates the Arabian Plate from the Nubian Plate, runs down the middle of the Sahara Desert, and is associated with the Great Rift Valley. There are only 3 real mountain chains in the Sahara Desert: the Atlas Mountains, the Ahaggar Mountains, and the Tibesti Massif. The Ahaggar Mountains, part of the Sahara mountain range that stretches across northern Africa, are also known as the Haggar. Number 2, Ha Long Bay, which is properly translated as Bay of Descending Dragons, is a 120-kilometer-long bay in North Vietnam. Thousands of islets dot the harbor, each covered in dense jungle growth, creating an amazing seascape of limestone pillars. Some of the islands have large caves and hollow interiors, while others have lakes, and some have floating towns of fishermen. Moonrise over Ha Long Bay is one of the most famous travel photographs of Vietnam, where some of the world's most breathtaking images were captured. In a country with more than 5,000 years of history and culture, Vietnam offers something for everyone, from bustling commercial centers to the ancient imperial capital, from tranquil lakes and peaceful villages to exotic tropical islands, from night markets to fascinating museums. No one knows exactly why these strange structures formed, but some geologists believe they are the result of an ancient ocean that has slowly disappeared. The most stunning scenes of this nature are at a place called Ha Long Bay. Number 3, Mount Everest. Mount Everest is the tallest peak on Earth with a height of 8,848 meters, 29,029 feet. It is situated where Nepal and Tibet meet. Climbers of all skill levels are drawn to the world's tallest peak. Although Mount Everest has several intrinsic risks, including altitude sickness, weather, and wind, other 8,000ers like K2 are significantly more difficult to climb. The majority of climbers who pass away during the ascent leave behind their bodies, so it is not unusual to discover bodies close to popular climbing routes. If a climber passes away near an area where climbers pass, the climber will have to be either buried on the mountain or removed from the mountain. Although it is a difficult and dangerous journey to reach the summit, many climbers are willing to put their lives in danger because they want to stand on top of the world's tallest mountain. Some climbers want to climb the mountain just once, but others climb it year after year, sometimes in an attempt to break records. Climbing Mount Everest is a very dangerous sport because the mountain is almost impossible to climb and the weather can be very bad or change very quickly. Number 4, Antarctica. Antarctica has the greatest average elevation of all the continents and is, on the whole, the coldest, driest, and windiest continent in the world. Antarctica is officially a desert, the biggest on Earth, with very little precipitation, even though roughly 98% of it is covered in ice. Since the Arctic Ocean covers the North Pole region, its relative warmth is transferred via the ice pack, making Antarctica colder than the Arctic. This is due to the fact that much of the continent is more than 3 kilometers, 2 miles, above sea level. Seals, blue whales, orcas, and penguins are among Antarctica's marine biodiversity. Antarctica, a large ice sheet, covers the continent, and the rest of it is home to penguins, seals, and seabirds. The waters that contain the cleanest and coldest water in the world have fewer fish, plankton and krill are more common. The cold, nutrient-rich water supports large populations of various species, such as fish, birds, and mammals. In the period of breeding in late winter through to early spring. Number 5. Great Barrier Reef. With a length of more than 3,000 kilometers, the Great Barrier Reef is the world's biggest system of coral reefs, 1,900 miles. It is the largest single structure created by living things and the only reef on Earth that can be viewed from space. Millions of microscopic creatures make up and construct the reef structure. Along with a wide variety of other animals, the Great Barrier Reef is home to green sea turtles, dolphins, whales, sea snakes, and clownfish. Since 1500, the reef has suffered a number of shocks, repeated episodes of bleaching of the corals due to higher sea temperatures, outbreaks of crown-of-thorns starfish due to overfishing and fertilizers in the water, and damage due to cyclones and floods. Because the reef is so big, it can take years for scientists to understand the changes and get a complete picture of its health. Despite these catastrophes, the reef is still one of the most complex and productive natural ecosystems on Earth. Number 6. Grand Canyon. One of the top tourist destinations in the U.S. is the Grand Canyon, which is situated in northern Arizona. The Colorado River carved the canyon over the course of several million years. It is 446 kilometers, 277 miles long and reaches a depth of nearly 1.6 kilometers. Although the Grand Canyon is neither the deepest nor the longest canyon in the world, its immense size and its complex and vibrant environment provide visitors with breathtaking views that are unrivaled anywhere else in the world. For many people, visiting the Grand Canyon is a bucket list item. The rocks exposed in the walls of the canyon tell a story of repeated advances and retreats of a shallow sea that once covered much of western North America at least 3 times during the past 1.6 billion years. For many people, visiting the Grand Canyon is a bucket list item where they make lifetime memories that will stay with them for the rest of their lives. Number 7. Iguazu Falls. Iguazu Falls, one of the world's great natural marvels, is located on the border between Brazil and Argentina. There are 275 falls that make up the Iguazu River waterfall system. Most of the falls are 64 meters, 210 feet, or less in height. The Devil's Throat, a U-shaped waterfall that is 700 meters, 2,300 feet, long, 150 meters, 492 feet, wide, and 82 meters high, 269 feet, is the most magnificent of them all. Although this waterfall is less than the height of the Niagara Falls, its breadth, fluidity, and color make it a wonder that draws many thousands of tourists each year. The Iguazu Falls have a history that is as interesting as their beauty. Today, the Iguazu Falls on the border of Brazil and Argentina are a World Heritage Site protected by both nations, but they have always been a source of conflict. Number 8. Amazon. With a total river flow that makes up around 1/5 of the global total, the Amazon River is the greatest river in the world by volume. More than 3,000 different fish species have been identified in the river, and more are continually being found. More than half of the planet's surviving rainforests are found in the Amazon rainforest. Its extraordinary biodiversity is due to its size as the world's largest tropical rainforest. The Amazon rainforest is home to 1 in 10 of the world's known species. If I had just 1 week to live and wanted to spend it in the Amazon rainforest, what would I do? You could get a taste of its diversity by doing a day hike or horseback trip into the jungle to observe wildlife, or you could focus on plants by joining an expedition of botanists and local guides who explore virgin forests in search of rare species. Number 9. Galapagos Islands. The Galapagos Islands are a small archipelago of volcanic islands that Ecuador holds in the eastern Pacific Ocean. The islands are relatively remote and dispersed, lying around 1,000 kilometers, 620 miles, west of South America. Charles Darwin drew inspiration for his theory of natural selection from the distinctive island ecosystem of the archipelago, which is well known across the world. The best way to appreciate the breathtaking scenery and wildlife is by taking a boat cruise. The simplest, though occasionally more expensive, alternative is to book a Galapagos Islands cruise through a company in your home nation. Numerous companies also provide Galapagos Islands vacation reservations from Porto Ayora, Guayaquil, or Quito. On your trip, consider asking for a shore excursion to see Darwin's finches, as well as the iguanas and penguins that populate the islands. Once you've arrived at the cruise ship or hotel in the Galapagos Islands, you'll have a little time to explore before you take an island tour. Number 10, Serengeti. Northwestern Tanzania is home to the Serengeti ecosystem, which also reaches southwestern Kenya. The area is home to one of the most breathtaking animal events and the largest mass movement of land mammals on the planet. 1 million wildebeest and 200,000 zebra travel a distance of 500 kilometers, 310 miles, from the southern Serengeti in Tanzania to the northern edge of the Masai Mara National Reserve in Kenya as part of an African safari tour. The Great Migration is arguably the world's greatest natural wonder and the highlight of any safari in Africa. Not unlike its American counterpart, the African Serengeti does not only draw tourists for its beauty but also offers a wealth of unforgettable experiences. Watching the Serengeti's large herds of wildebeest, zebra, Thompson's gazelle, and other antelope gliding across the plains, nibbling grass, or grazing on acacia trees makes for a memorable, exciting, and breathtakingly real African safari. Despite the wildlife, the northern Serengeti is recognized as a tourist trap, while the Masai Mara is notoriously overrated but, from a visitor's perspective, offers numerous true safari experiences, such as gorging on the game in a mob of wildebeest and watching giraffes watering their backs at the riverbed of a watering hole.